warm up the audience using a humorous story. Don't hold your breath. It's okay to laugh out loud. And Marc's really paying attention, so he's gonna hear us if we laugh. And if a quip isn't funny, it'll help Marc's ego if you laugh anyway. Now here's Marc presenting My Careers at Autoland. Thank you, Marc.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests if there were any. Fresh out of college, the accountant, the young man who was an accountant, answered an ad to be an accountant. A very nervous man who had started a business was interviewing him. I'm looking for somebody with an accounting degree, the man said. I need some, but mostly what I'm looking for is somebody to take the worries off, to do all my worrying for me. Excuse me, said the accountant. The man continued. I worry about a lot of things in my business. What I don't want to have to do is worry about money. That's what your role is. I want you to worry about, you'd be worrying about the money, taking care of it for me, so I don't have to. I guess so, said the accountant. How much does it pay? The man said, $80,000. The accountant said, $80,000? How is it that a small business like yours could afford such a sum? Ah, the man said, that is your first worry. I worked at a small business called Autoland. I was hired there to be it was started by a man in 1971, as a small business. When I started work there in 1987, it had 5 offices and about 45 employees. Not even that, 35 employees, pardon me. I was hired to be the managing director of the Mechanical Breakdown Insurance, or MBI department. My role in that position was to help with the applications for MBI, make sure they went to the insurance company, and to handle any complaints. Well, there were plenty. In fact, as it turns out, that was the first thing I did, but I also want to say that over the 11 years that I worked there, I had the fabulous opportunity to have I changed my job title 3 times in that 11 years. So, as the director of the MBI department, I would get calls from people who didn't have their claim adjusted properly, they thought. Some of the ones, there's 2 that stand out in particular. One man called me and said that the claim for a new engine on his car had been denied. I said, well, really? Well, what happened? He said, well, I was driving down the freeway and steam started coming out of the engine. I kept driving thinking it wasn't much, but all of a sudden the car stopped responding and I had to pull over to the side. Well, as it turns out, his engine had nearly melted. I had to remind the gentleman very gently that as a mechanical breakdown insurance policy, it doesn't cover negligence. There are other words I would have liked to have used, but that's what I used. Another story that I also found very interesting was a woman called me and said, why aren't my brakes covered? This is a mechanical breakdown insurance policy, and brakes are mechanical, aren't they? The stories I heard and could repeat to you could fill a stand-up comedian's hour-long gig. Another position I had was as the VP operations. I wrote the company's first operating manual. Soon after it was sent out to all the employees, I got a call. Man said, are you serious when you wrote that every one of us has his or her own business within the greater business of Autoland? I said, yes. He says, well, if I have my own business, I want a secretary. My last position, and my favorite, was as Chief Information Officer. In that role, I was to take care of all the computers and all the telephones for the company. Now, everyone in the company had a computer. I had to be very careful what I said because as a high-level employee, second to the president, I was responsible for a lot of people. One of the things that I one day got a call, and the person said, the retractable cup holder on the computer isn't large enough. Is there any way that I could get a larger one? You know, the one where you press a button and a tray with a hole comes out? It's marked CD for cup dispenser. Another time, and this happened more than once, a person called me, a person would call and say, my computer isn't on, the screen is blank. So I would go through a small checklist. Did you press and hold the power button for a few seconds? Is the monitor light glowing? I would invariably get yes answers to these. And then I would ask, is it plugged in? The answer would be no, and there would be an embarrassing apology following quickly. In conclusion, working at a small business empowered me and allowed me to have a lot of things that I could do, make calls on my own, and almost be the president at times. It also was an interesting experience with all the humorous things that happened, as you can hear from some of the anecdotes I just told. I am still in touch. One of the things that I liked the best was I was able to change my position 3 times during that 11 years as I saw fit. The president and I were very close, and one of the things that I was also very close to was some of the other employees. In fact, I'm still in touch with several of them, even after 14 years. The days and nights, as I think about the days and nights that I spent at Autoland, working there, doing the things that I needed to do, in any of the 4 positions that I held, I know that it's a lasting memory that I'll always have. All the different things that I dealt with, and all the ways that I dealt with them, the learning that happened with my position will create a lasting memory that will last me forever. Madam President.